today's the day. Gonna go see Avengers Infinity War. As always with the MCU movies, I'm not excited. Those movies do not excite me. They've just been increasingly worse and just too self-aware of how much money they're gonna make, yet still keep churning them out, making them terrible. I don't think they're really that good. I really don't think that they deserve all the praise that they get. But that being said, I'm just gonna go in with a fresh attitude. So I'm on my way to pick up Tully. This is probably the last movie we're gonna see in cinemas for a while because he's heading off. This is gonna be the last one of those for a while. I'm still gonna do a few of them, so you know, keep your eyes open. I'm still gonna do a few of them in between days off and whatnot. So on the weekend I watched Civil War again, which I didn't really mind. And so I noticed that a lot of the Captain America, well, pretty much all the Captain America movies have so many different characters in it that are from the assembly of the Avengers that they're pretty much just like mini Avengers movies. The first Captain America was really good. I like the first Captain America. But Winter Soldier and Civil War, they just keep adding more and more characters into it from the Avengers that they pretty much are just like the 0.5 edition of the Avengers movies that comes after it. So, I don't know, like, Civil War wasn't too bad, it was watchable. Watched Doctor Strange, just halfway through that movie I gave up. Like, when he started astral projecting in the hospital, I was just like, nah, I'm good. I watched Spider-Man Homecoming. That was the third attempt I had at watching Spider-Man Homecoming. The first time I went to watch it, I just got bored very quickly. The second time I went to watch it, I purposely watched it late at night so that it would put me to sleep. The third time was the other day when I watched the entire thing. Yeah, the movie's exactly what you would have thought it would be. I just wanted a Spider-Man movie, and it was hardly Spider-Man in that movie. And you can say, you was Spider-Man in that movie, he was always dressed up Spider-Man. It wasn't Spider-Man, it was just a kid running around in a costume that was pretty much like a shit version of Iron Man, and was just running around just doing his own thing whenever he wants. So practically what we got Iron Man in a Spider-Man suit, but played by a teenager. That's pretty much what I felt that movie was. It just wasn't anything interesting, it wasn't anything new. It was just another MCU film. I have seen Thor Ragnarok before. I didn't like it, I thought it was terrible. So I rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Still hate it. Still think it's bad. Still think a lot of the decisions they made in that movie were terrible. The movie was just bland. So that brings me up to date as much as I can remember. I'll try and keep an open mind when it comes to the majority of the decisions that they've decided to make with the film. But yeah. So here's to hoping the film's at least entertaining enough. Josh!
Oh, man.
What's up, man?
Oh, man. Avengers Day.
Avengers! What do you think?
Oh, man. MC Universe. Haven't been a big fan of it in like 4 years.
Yeah.
Hated the first Avengers film.
Oh, you know what it felt like to me? It felt too clean. Like, it felt too clean, you know? Everyone was always going on about how good it is, and it's in the top 250 movies of all time, and it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time. It was too clean. The movie was just too clean. I just did not enjoy it as much as what I thought it was gonna.
Oh yeah. Age of Ultron, the less said the better.
You know what Age of Ultron is to me? Age of Ultron to me is the Iron Man 2 of the Avengers movies. It's like, man, we did really good with that first one. Let's make a second one. Go, 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 go. And then they printed it, and then they put it out there, and they're like, you know what? We actually didn't do a good enough story, and we forgot to add this into it. Maybe we should have thought that one through.
You know, my problem with the MC Universe these days is ever since Disney bought it out, they've kind of, what's the word to say? They've kind of made it some kind of Hulk Hogan BS where it's kind of all like, you know, back then Hulk Hogan was saying your prayers and eating your vitamins. I feel like that's what they've made the Marvel heroes these days. I mean, I'd be surprised in a month or two they had like Iron Man doing public service announcements. Make sure you cross the road, kids, look both ways.
Oh, like Captain America did in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Hey kids, always eat your greens and do your sit-ups and listen to your teacher. And the teacher's like, hey.
Yeah. And that's
we gotta play this for you kids. It's in the rule book.
And for someone who's read the comics for years before the MCU universe even existed, I don't know. I feel a little let down that they've turned it into such a such a kid-friendly appeal. I mean, if you read an Iron Man comic, Tony Stark was an alcoholic, and in this, you know.
But if you watch the trailer to the second Iron Man,
yeah,
he's drinking in almost every single scene, and then you watch the movie and they've just cut it all out.
Yeah, the only time he got drunk was at the party scene.
Yeah, and then it's got what's his name, Rhodey being all like, "You've got to stop this, Tony," and you're like, "Got to stop what? He's drinking at his own party." And then you realise, oh, it's because they cut out all the scenes with him drinking and getting all alcoholic and all shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's what they're talking about. But they, you know, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's that kids watching it won't understand what he means. And
no.
It's just, it's lost its own it's lost its own thing. You know, it lost who it was.
Oh yeah. So in regards to Infinity War, I'm walking in with not so high expectations.
Open mind, bro. You got to go with the open mind. I've got no expectations, but you know, even when we went and saw Ready Player One, I was like, I'll give it a go. And then when we got out, I was like, you know what? I've forgotten all about most of that movie now. I've forgotten about the majority of what actually happened in that movie. But I think it's mainly just because it wasn't an inspiring film. It was just another. Do you know what's really annoying about that? Just to go off track real quick. Have you seen all the reports about that movie on the news lately?
Ready Player One.
Where they're like, it made Steven Spielberg a $10 billion movie director and blah blah blah. And you're like,
Get out.
So he's been making movies since the motherfucking 70s. So if he hasn't made $10 billion at the cinemas now, then what the fuck has he been doing? Like, I mean, no one's given a shit about his movies since 2008 when he bought out Indiana Jones. So, you know, no wonder he hasn't been making that much money. And now he's making something that's making him a lot of money. And it's like, oh, he's making a lot of money. Let's talk about him again. It's like, how about no? Like, he did really well in the 70s and the 80s and the early 90s. And then he just dropped off because he started doing shit. Anyway, back to Infinity War.
I want to give it a chance. I really want to give Infinity War a chance.
Yep.
I would love to I'd love to leave the movie and go, you know what, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, well, you know what's going to do a Lord of the Rings ending where it just ends.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to be one of those things where it'll be like in the middle of a battle or something stupid like that, and it'll be like, my God, what's Thanos doing? And all of a sudden all these beasts will come out of nowhere and people will be like, holy crap, what's going on? And it will just cut to the fucking credits and everyone will be like, boo! It's coming out next year, guys, calm down. Like, it'd be one of those fucking things.
Speaking of Thanos, you know, watching the trailers, haven't been completely dazzled by the CGI. I'm hoping, you know, oh yeah, Homer Simpson. I'm hoping it's gonna look truly amazing in the film. Like,
yeah.
I won't say that the Avengers has shit CGI because it has spectacular CGI, but
there's been a few moments where I've looked at it and I've gone, that looks crap.
Green screen.
But they've thought it out. Thought it. They didn't just go add this here, add this post credits. They've gone, no, we're going to do this, this, and this is what it's going to look like. And there are some scenes where I've gone, well, that looked pretty crappy, but it didn't look green screen, fucking Last Jedi riding the goddamn thing crappy. That was fucking horrible, wasn't it?
Like, another thing about Infinity War that's really turned me off the idea of it is just a huge cast. Like, from experience and watching films in the past, films that do a large cast where there's like 20 on the main poster, it's too distracting.
Well, isn't there like 72 main cast members in this?
72 main cast members, give or take.
Christ.
But it's just too distracting. I mean, I don't want to follow the story of 72 people in a 2.5 hour film.
Do you know what it'll do though? It'll have only 4 separate sections where you're following 4 separate subplots.
Yeah.
And every single minor character will just be standing in the background doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like Gamora will probably have like a few lines of dialogue, and Peter Quill will have a few lines of dialogue, but Rocket, Groot, and Drax will literally be standing in the background doing nothing the entire scene.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, we're only paying these actors for how many words they speak.
What, $100 a word? 1,000?
Probably. Jesus. Man, could you imagine how much money they forked out for those people to get on set? Because Downey Jr.'s getting like 20 million a movie.
Oh yeah.
And then there's like, you know, everyone else, like Captain America and all that crap, they're all getting
Robert Downey Jr. is
getting
getting paid some insane amount.
Well, isn't like the next Avengers movie his last one? Didn't he say
Yeah,
he
I think he's contracted to one more film as Tony Stark. But
Captain America said he wants to leave after the next film, which is weird because they filmed the Avengers 3 and 4 at the same time. So technically, if you want to look into it, they're not actually saying that the next Avengers is their last movie. They're saying the movie after the next Avengers is their last movie because they're contracted for one more movie, not one more filming. So, who knows? I mean, who cares? I don't give a shit.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
That's my MCU in a ball. I wonder about who cares? Like,
yeah, I haven't cared about an MC Universe film since Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one.
See, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first Guardians of the Galaxy was really good. It was because it was different, and I think that was the last one that I actually watched and said, man, I'm glad I paid to see this in the cinemas. That was really good.
Yeah.
And I haven't paid to see any more in the cinemas because I just haven't cared about the story.
Yeah, I agree with
although
that.
I really like, I'm probably the only person that at my work that actually likes Captain America. I thought Captain America
love
was
the
great.
Captain America standalone films.
Yeah.
They're my favourite ones out of the MC universe. Like, the first Avenger is actually one of my favourite.
Yeah, I'd say that was top three.
Yeah, top three in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm not going to put them in any specific order because I don't care enough to put them in any specific order. But I would say it's in top 3 just because the fact that Captain America, I think, is a good character for what he is and what he does. But at the same time, I think the way that they did his origin story was really good.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was like almost like a PG film with M-rated sort of storyline.
Yeah.
But they made it exciting and they made it enjoyable.
And then Wonder Woman copied it.
Yeah, and everyone's like, DC's copying Marvel. It's like, yeah, well, no shit. I don't know, it's fucking dumb. But, yeah, so going with a clear mind, we're here really early, though, because we want to get a ticket.
I fucking hope we can still get a ticket. They'll probably, other viewers will probably go and see whatever Dwayne Johnson's limping to the barn with. Rampage.
So fucking bad. I think it lost out to a Quiet Place in its first weekend, didn't it?
If you want to see a good film, if you're not an Avengers fan, go see A Quiet Place.
Yeah, Quiet Place is fucking awesome, yeah. Quick little promo there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, alright, well, we're gonna go watch this movie.
3 hours later.
So, Josh, what did you think?
Oh man, long film.
No spoilers.
Oh man, long film. But I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 10.
Oh, that is generous. That is generous.
The other 2 Avenger films, but there were bits I enjoyed, like that whole Tom Holland bit. That was pretty emotional. I was like, he was acting like a scared teenager.
Yeah. Jackie, so what did you think of Avengers Infinity War? Oh, I totally forgot the name of the movie.
It was too fucking long.
Yeah?
Too fucking long.
How long is too long?
Maybe an hour too long.
An hour too long?
I think so.
This is like the culmination of like 17 movies leading up to this point, so it's an hour too long.
I just didn't care that much.
No, that's fair enough.
I
You know
really
what's
didn't.
really funny though is that's only part 1 of 2, so there's another 2.5 hour long movie coming after that.
Gouge my eyes out right now.
You don't want to go see it with us? It's gonna come out in a year, so you got all that temptation of knowing what's gonna happen.
And catching up
Do
with
I
all the
care that
Marvel
much
films
about
you didn't
Thanos?
see.
I don't know, man.
So you're gonna catch up with Guardians 2 and
I don't think that's going to happen.
Nah, I don't think it needs to happen now that you've seen what they were all about.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, she pretty much said
I
to
just
me.
don't care that much.
She pretty much said to me in the cinema with all the Black Panther stuff. Oh, we don't need to see Black Panther now because
We
we know where
just
they
saw
are.
it.
we pretty much just saw it, yeah.
Exactly.
That was like 20 minutes of the 2 hour long movie that it is, and that's pretty much
That's all I
that.
need to see. See? We've lost the 2 hours.
There you go. It's alright.
Riveting
So
stuff.
out of 10, what would you give it?
Probably 5.
5 out of
It did
10.
have some moments, yeah.
More generous than I thought. What
It
was
just went so long.
what was the worst thing other than the time? What was the worst thing about it?
Gee, there's a few moments. The shitty, corny dialogue. There were so many stupid lines.
Yeah, there was a lot of stupid
So
lines.
many. It was
Hey, it gets worse. It gets worse in some of those movies. It gets a lot worse.
That's why I won't see them.
Almost as
Yeah.
bad
I
as
need
the
to see
Attack of
them.
the Clones
I feel like I've
dialogue
already
about
seen
sand.
them. Yeah.
Oh no, it's not that bad, but like yeah, close enough.
Well, there was a mass exodus. Everyone was leaving.
What was the best part of the whole movie?
The ending.
The ending.
Then it finally ended.
Is it? Oh, Oh, that's better. Yeah. Infinity War. So, Josh, Infinity War, what did you think, mate? No spoilers, okay? We can't do any spoilers. I don't want to ruin this for people, even though we are. I just don't want to do any spoilers. So, no spoilers, but tell us what you thought, Josh.
Okay. You know, I was going in with an open mind.
Yep.
And part of me really wanted to like it.
Yep.
It wasn't a downright terrible, awful film like the Avengers and Age of Ultron.
Oh, Age of Ultron, don't get me started.
But it wasn't great.
Yeah, it was. It had MCU curses on it.
Yes.
There's an MCU curse in the sense that that like everything in that movie happened for a reason, but everything in that movie had a problem and a solution to that problem that was so easy to figure out. Like, that's how I felt. I felt that every single problem that they were faced with had a very easy solution. Oh my god, Spider-Man's getting pulled up into outer space. Here's this random suit. Oh, and he knows perfectly how to use it. How the fuck did he know how to use it? It had its own, like, disappearing helmet and shit. How did he know how to use that? He'd never used that before in his entire fucking life.
There were things in there, like... Well, first off, the runtime was ridiculously long. First off, the runtime was absolutely ridiculous. But also the characters, like, so many characters to follow, and, like, some didn't get as much exposure as they should have, and others were just in there because they're part of the franchise.
Like, I can see why some characters didn't get too much exposure. Like, I mean, Falcon. Who gives a shit about Falcon?
No one.
But War Machine was in it more than Falcon. Mm-hmm. And War Machine no one cares about. You got no legs. I think War Machine's one of the shittest characters in the whole fucking series, to be honest with you, but that's a story for another day. Mm-hmm. But, like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, there was just so much happening in so many different ways that didn't make any sense to anything that was going on. Like, yeah, like, without spoiling too much, right? Doctor Strange gets taken at the start, and he gets taken into a spaceship, and Iron Man and Spider-Man grab onto the spaceship and get inside the spaceship to try and save him. So it makes sense that they're together for the entire story. That makes sense. But, like, oh no, Thor just randomly happens upon the Guardians of the Galaxy because they sent out a distress beacon and blah, 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 blah. Like, it's so fucking, like, purposely written in a dumb, childish way just to get these characters to be like, who are you? No, who are you? And it was, like, so stupid. Like, they didn't have to make them people meet. That wasn't even a funny, like, interaction between the characters. They didn't have to make them meet.
No, they didn't.
And, like, obviously people die in this movie, and I'm not going to give away any of the spoilers for people who die. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. But the purpose for some of these characters in this show, when they're gone, is just so stupid. Like, oh, this person passed away. Okay, well, that's going to create... Oh, no one cared. Oh, this person passed away. Oh, okay, they were referenced once. Okay, nothing happened now. Like, it just makes no sense half the time when some of these characters disappear from the show or are now basically gone for good. Oh, man, it just kind of pissed me off, eh?
Yeah, there was too much crammed into a 2.5 hour film.
Yeah, and, like, even the scenes where they go to Wakanda, like, the scene where they went to Wakanda, I was like, oh, okay, we're going to see Wakanda again. And it was just so, like, jam-packed full of nonsense and, hey, I'm speaking scientific terms. Hey, now I'm speaking scientific terms. Now we're outside fighting. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, here's some new tech we haven't seen. It's like, what? Like, that whole entire scene was just boring.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the action in that scene was just, it was almost like the exact same thing that I had a problem with the Matrix Revolutions. Yet again, I'm going to bring it up, where there was so much CGI on the screen happening at once that it just was so poor. It was just so poor, and I just didn't enjoy it. They gave Scarlet Witch way more to do in this movie than what they probably should have given her to do, and I think she was a great actress in it. I think they kind of fleshed out a little bit more of Tony and Spider-Man's connection and bonding there. Even though they didn't really do too much, they did enough for me to be, like, satisfied with their characters, do you know? And I did like a couple of the cameos, which I won't ruin. I'm not going to ruin that for you. There's a really good cameo. There's a really good cameo in this. Well, actually, there's two really good cameos in this movie, but I'm not going to ruin it. Fuck, man, when I saw those characters, I was like, hey! It'd be a 4.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was so uninspired.
Yeah.
It was just the same thing all over again. It wasn't anything special.
No.
Nothing special at all.
Nah.
But what did you think of, like, once again, no spoilers, won't give away the ending, but what did you think about having everything at the end that happened and then having a post-credit scene that was clearly set up like months and months ago with post-production performances and what they're filming right now, and have no payoff and have no significance or anything at all to anything that's happening in that movie?
Well, usually the post-credit scenes are meant to give you a bit of excitement for what's to happen next, but this just had no delivery, no expectation. Like, I was very disappointed. I loved the ending to the actual film itself. I thought it was great.
The ending to the film itself was decent enough for me to be like, well, there was some payoff.
To go, yeah, there was a payoff, and it wasn't what anyone was expecting.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was expecting what happened to happen.
Not worth that extra 10-minute wait to get an additional 1 minute footage of what's to come next.
There was so many credits. Like, the credits went for fucking ever. I swear to God, those credits were like 10 minutes. So much happens in all these movies that when it gets to a big collaborative film like this, you are really excited for what's to come. But I don't think there was any real payoff in that movie.
No.
Like Thanos, I will say Thanos, digital effects on Thanos weren't as bad as what I originally thought they were going to be. When you see close-up of his face, it wasn't too bad, and you could see that they had molded Josh Brolin's features into his face.
I will say as well, Josh Brolin, not a fan of him, but he did a pretty good job as Thanos. Like, I really think that he was able to get into the character physically and emotionally, even though most of it was CGI. But the fact that
there was a few emotional scenes in there.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job for a character that's meant to be a genocidal monster. Yeah, pretty much. He did do a decent enough job. It wasn't a great job. No,
but it was decent enough for me to be like, oh, he did a good job.
Decent enough for me to say, I reckon he'll do a banging job as Cable.
Yeah, well, he's definitely going to do a better job as Cable.
Oh yeah.
But I think what the film lacked, to be honest with you, is a little more story depth. Like, they needed to just delve into the story a little bit more and just give you a reason to care about some of these characters.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were all over the fucking place. Like, they were bopping all over the place.
There were three separate storylines. There was the one going on Earth, which was with Captain America and co. The one on the ship with Tony Stark.
Yep.
And the one in space with Thor and the Guardians.
Yeah, but like, then all of a sudden they all split up as well.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the ones on Earth go somewhere completely different. And like even there's a scene in Scotland. And I swear to God, like, I've been to Scotland before. I've been there many times before. I swear to God, though, man, that scene in Scotland could have been anywhere. I doubt they even went to Scotland. I know they went there because they said it in the credits, but I doubt they even went there. They could have been anywhere. It's literally just like, here's a corner street, a random corner street with a kebab shop. And the only reason you can tell it's Scottish is because it's a cobblestone floor and there's a sign on the side of the wall that says, "We'll deep fry your kebab," because everyone knows in Scotland you can get anything literally deep fried. And then they smash through this giant train station window, of which I know the train station that they're basically referring to, but it could have just been a digital train station from anywhere. Like, it wasn't even, there was no landmarks anywhere, there was no sign that it was Scotland. Like, at least have a fucking castle or something in the background. Like, no, just this random place here and just that'll do Scotland.
Well, have a popular Scottish actor make a pass by. Sean Connery, Albert Finney,
Dude, just even do anything remotely Scottish. Have a random person in the background say something that is Scottish. Like,
have Vision wear a kilt.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, that'd be better. But like, it's like filming something in Australia and you'd be like, oh, where are they going to go? Like, into Sydney Harbour Bridge or like, the Opera House or something like that. Nah, just some back alley with some like graffiti that just looks generic and boring. And then do they get punched into like the Sydney Opera House? Nah, just have them get punched into like, Flinders Street Station because it looks generic and just like any other fucking train station in Australia. Oh, okay. It just was so stupid. Like, it was a waste of money.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
But the scenes that were the scenes that were there, they did serve a purpose. There was a purpose, but like, it just, I don't know. And like, why is it when we first met Bucky in this movie, did he look like fucking Braveheart? Like, if you haven't seen the movie yet, right? Obviously, Bucky's in it because he's in the trailer. Just wait for him to rock up in the movie. The first time he rocks up in the movie, it's when they're in Wakanda, And he looks like a shit, skinny Mel Gibson Braveheart wannabe. Like, I swear to God, doppelganging. Even the long hair that looks like shit. He had the tartan side on one arm. His clothes were all tattered and fucked up. One of his other arms that was actually existent, it was all bare and like noticeable. It swear to God, straight away I was just like, that's fucking Braveheart. Oh man, it was so dumb.
Oh man.
But yeah, other than that, so out of 10, Josh.
5. I was going to give it a 4.5, but I think, Tom Holland, as much as I didn't like Spider-Man Homecoming, I think he does a pretty decent job as a teenage Peter Parker.
Yeah, I'll give him that. In Spider-Man Homecoming, it was pretty shit, but he's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of coming to his own. He does show a little bit now. It's a little bit more noticeable as an actual teenage actor.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's 22 or something, 22 or 23.
Yeah, but the fact that he's playing a teenage character. Yeah, because I'll give kudos to the acting as always. Tom Holland, Josh Brolin. Yeah. I even think Paul Bettany as Vision
I'm not a Paul Bettany fan, but he did well.
Yeah, he did a solid job as a character who...
Elizabeth Olsen.
But Paul Bettany, his character didn't really have much relevance in...
All the other movies, he just kind of spoke like this.
Yeah, he's just kind of there, isn't he?
Yeah.
But in this, he kind of had a bit more of a more important role.
Oh, more than just a little important. There's a whole subplot under there with his character, and he does have a turn. He does have a dramatic turn, but it's not one of those dramatic turns where you're like, wow, he really did well. You're just like, oh, he actually kind of came into his own there.
Yeah.
But he's an established director already.
Yeah.
Can I just say though, really quickly? I said it beforehand with the Spider-Man thing, where they're like 8 years later at the start of the movie, and it's like, but 8 years later would mean that it's 2020, because the events that they were referencing happened in 2012. But I let that slide a little bit. In this, fucking Iron Man is literally hanging out with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and references the things that happened in New York 6 years ago. Not 8, like Spider-Man Homecoming said. So you fucked your own timeline up with your shit fucking maths. Anyway, other than raging about that, something that no one's gonna fucking care about because it's just David talking shit again.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna enjoy the Avengers except us.
Hey, look, I'll tell you this, if it makes $1 billion in its first week, I'm not gonna be surprised. If it makes $2 billion over its entire run, I will be a little surprised. I honestly will be a little surprised. Yeah, that's Infinity War.
Yep. So what's next? Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think, is
the next one
August,
in between this. Yeah, and then I think it's the next Avengers film, then Captain Marvel.
No, I think Captain Marvel comes out start of next year.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
Oh, who fucking cares?
Who cares?
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, Phase 4 is just about to begin of the MC universe. And
Isn't this Phase 4?
Well, no, this is Phase 3, I think.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
That's how much I.
And I think this ends with Infinity War, and Phase 4 is starts with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but never know.
It doesn't matter if you are anyway. I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't be paying attention. But nah, so yeah, well, thanks for joining me.
No worries. Always a pleasure.
Trying to be professional. Nah, but yeah, well, at least we had fun. At least we had a laugh.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Man, that dialogue was corny.
That dialogue was corny.
The dialogue in that movie was so corny.
Yeah, man.
So are we going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp in the cinemas?
Let's get through to Deadpool 2 first. Which will be good.
Deadpool 2 will be good.
But, there's also Aquaman.
Stay in contact.
I will.
And when you're back, we'll go to do another one of these because the people are going to want to see what we have to say.
Yeah. And make sure you buy The Shape of Water when it comes out.
Oh, yeah, buy The Shape of Water when it comes out. It comes out next month. I'll see you later, mate. Have a good one. So yeah, Infinity War. I mean, go and see it. You're going to want to go and see it if you've seen all the other Marvel movies. You can't not go see it because it is a huge collaboration. But just don't go in expecting it to be one of the greatest movies because honestly, it's all just hype now. Like, this movie is seriously all just hype now. People are just overhyping it because of what it is. Yeah, they made good effort. And yeah, there's a hell of a lot of cast in it, but it isn't really that great of a movie, you know? But who am I to tell you what to do? I'm just another idiot on the internet.